Let's do it. What's up, everybody? This is Jose. Welcome to Millbrook, Alabama. Today we're going to be exploring this town of under 20,000 people living to the north of Montgomery. We're part of the Montgomery Statistical Metropolitan Area. I want to show you guys what it's like out here and tell you everything you need to know about this town in case you're considering moving here or in case you're just curious about the place. I live within the area of Millbrook and I really have enjoyed it. It's been the happiest period of my life. I've lived here for 8 months in this vicinity and I want to share with you guys what it's like out here. We also want to welcome our new subscribers. Our channel is growing tremendously, and with new subscribers comes haters. So let's put this clunker in drive and go explore Millbrook, Alabama. There's a lot of stuff to do in Millbrook. For a place this small, it's all right. I really enjoy the country vibes. It's really slow pace of life. Light traffic for the most part. It's a suburban area, but it feels kind of country. As you can see across the street, law enforcement is having a fairly serious situation down there. One of the interesting things about Millbrook is that here it seems like law enforcement is very, very prolific at finding criminals and arresting them, while a lot of places try to keep their crime rates down by not arresting people. Here in Alabama, the crime rates are really high on paper, but the good thing is that law enforcement is doing their job. They're very, very dedicated to being effective at what they do, and it helps not keep crime rates down on paper, but it does make the community feel really safe. So when you look at Alabama crime rates, if you've ever looked at Alabama crime rates, you've probably wondered, wow, Alabama has a lot of crime rate. And it really does. Alabama has a high crime rate compared to other places, the state as a whole. But what you need to understand about Alabama is, yeah, we do have a high crime rate, but we also have a law enforcement that is doing their job, and they're not letting criminals get away with crime. You just saw we have a Mexican restaurant over there, and right here we have a Thai sushi place. I'm not big on Thai and sushi, but there's a lot of diversity when it comes to restaurants. I mean, for a small town of 15,000 people in Alabama, it has a pretty decent diversity of businesses. And there's a lot of shopping centers that have a little bit of vacancy. Like here's a health store market, a health mart. So there's a lot of suburban types of shopping and restaurants and things to do. A lot of people here don't like it when I call this area suburban. They kind of like to consider it like their own little city or their own little town, but in all respects it really is a suburban area. It's part of the Montgomery metropolitan area. But we're gonna see a lot about the city of Millbrook. It's kind of odd that I started off in a parking lot of a business center, but you know, if you're looking at moving here, you probably want to know what type of businesses are in the area. Here at the food outlet, you have you know, a Mexican restaurant. Ironically, the next shopping plaza over also has a Mexican restaurant. There's Domino's Pizza here and a Subway. So you have a lot of stuff to choose from. We're now crossing 14, which is the main highway that splits through the city. And as you can see, there's really not a lot of traffic. It's 1 in the afternoon right now, and there's really not a lot of traffic. You can see some type of law enforcement situation unfolding here at the Walgreens, and it's fairly common to see some type of law enforcement activity here in Millbrook. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through here or not, but the city really does a great job of kind of, I don't know if I can go through here or not. I might just have to pull out. I might just have to go around. I don't know if I can go around or not. Can I drive through here? I don't know. But the city does a fairly good job of keeping crime in check. And, you know, so the crime rates, can I go through? Can I drive through? Gotcha. So the city does a great job of keeping crime in check. You know, a lot of places are very lenient when it comes to crime. They're not really apprehending criminals as a rule of thumb here in Alabama, law enforcement does their job. They're not cutting people breaks. Where I used to live in Florida, the crime rates were very low on paper. Notice I said on paper. Where when you look at Millbrook, Alabama, where I live now, on paper, the crime rate here is fairly high. But as you can see, law enforcement here, they do their job. They go after criminals, and they don't give you a slap on the wrist. If you get caught breaking the law in Alabama, you're usually going to encounter law enforcement doing their job. Now, Millbrook was originally called Robinson Springs, and this is one of the few really historic buildings that we have here. Robinson Springs Church is right here, and there's a historical marker right in front of it. It says here, this Greek revival structure was completed in the late 1840s on land donated by L.E. Robinson. So here we have a structure from the 1840s, and Millbrook was originally known as Robinson Springs. It is now known as Millbrook. This area has historically been a place for people, wealthy people in the Montgomery area, to come here in the summer and in the spring to kind of vacation. And it was kind of like a resort, like getaway from people in the Montgomery area. And to have a structure here that is this old right in the center of our city is amazing. So that's Highway 14. This is Main Street, which turns into Deatsville. So this intersection right here is kind of like the main intersection of town. You have a Winn-Dixie, a Walgreens, a CVS, a food outlet, a Tractor Supply. And if you go about 10 minutes that way, you're in Prattville, and Prattville has everything you need. So if Millbrook doesn't have exactly what you're looking for, you're about 10 to 15 minutes away from Prattville. And in Prattville, you have a Panera, you got Starbucks, you got Target, Lowe's, Home Depot. Every big name brand you could possibly think of is right there in Prattville. So that's one great thing about being in Millbrook, is you're 20 minutes away from downtown Montgomery, and you're 10-15 minutes away from Prattville. So even though it's a suburban small town place, you have everything you need nearby. I think it's a great place for somebody who's looking to retire affordable. So there's a sushi place right over there behind the food outlet in Winn-Dixie, and there's a Hibachi Express right here. So as you can see, there is diversity in the food. Personally, I love how cute and charming this little structure is. I don't know if it's part of the church or maybe a daycare center, but whatever it is, it's a very beautiful little cute structure. We're just gonna run right through the center of town, a run-on video on Main Street to give you guys an idea of what the city center looks like. As you can see, this area is very well patrolled. Day or night, there's always law enforcement here, and I definitely do not recommend that you speed through Millbrook. Watch your speed limits when you're going through Millbrook, because this is a very well patrolled area. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about Millbrook when they see it and they start looking at statistics is they think, wow, there's a lot of crime in Millbrook. And I think that's a little misleading. I think Millbrook isn't really a place with a crime problem. I just think that law enforcement here is very active. There's a lot of law enforcement, and they're actually doing their job. There's no games here to be played with law enforcement. They're doing what they need to be doing. And I think a lot of places that on paper have a low crime rate, in reality have a much higher crime rate. The law enforcement just isn't actively targeting this stuff. I like this little shopping plaza over here on the left. You can see that they have some palm trees right out front. I'm gonna pull into this little shopping plaza here, and I'm gonna show you guys. I like this shopping plaza because they got palm trees all the way around it. I wish there were more palm trees here. Palm trees, they do grow here in this region of Alabama, but you just don't see that many palm trees. And this shopping center, whoever designed it, did a really good job of designing this shopping center, because they put palm trees everywhere, different types of palm trees. I'm totally a fan of palm trees. Mine's made it through the winter, but you can see here they have several different types of palm trees. They'll grow here in Millbrook, so if you live in this area, get some palm trees, you know? Like when you go to Florida, you see those royal palm trees everywhere. Those royal palm trees don't grow in Florida everywhere. They grow in a small little area in the Everglades. The Cuban royal palm trees. There's law enforcement right there rushing to something. It's a black SUV just like mine. But yeah, palm trees, they don't grow in Florida. They grow in like those Royal Cuban palm trees. They grow in a small little region of Florida. But they have royal palm trees all over the state. So the same thing here in Alabama. We should really get more palm trees. So this is like, it's like a newer shopping plaza. You got an eye exam place, Tags, Elmore County. You got a color copy place. You got a Thirsty Turtle. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been to the Thirsty Turtle yet. It's a Southern Yankee barbecue. You gotta be kidding me. Hold on, we gotta check this out. That's hilarious. Southern Yankee barbecue. I've got to try it sometime. And Thirsty Turtle, I've yet to go to this little establishment. So yes, you will find that the word Yankee gets thrown around quite a bit here in the South. So if that's a sensibility you have, probably consider somewhere else. So let's continue this tour of Millbrook. We're going to continue to head southbound on Main Street towards the center of town. I just like this little shopping plaza here. I think they did a great job with these palm trees. Gotta check out that Thirsty Turtle sometime. And actually, before we head back into Millbrook, let's take a little street here and show you guys what some of these residential neighborhoods look like. Normal residential neighborhoods. Nothing fancy, nothing over the top, just what a regular neighborhood looks like here in Millbrook. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day, abundant sunshine, and even though it's still kind of the winter, we still don't have the greens coming in. Not sure where this car's, oh, he's going that way, gotcha. We're currently on Chapman and Falkirk Drive. This is called Winter Lake. You still don't have all those greens. I mean, this would be a beautiful video to make in the summer or the spring when the colors come back to the area. We'll get there eventually, but this is what a normal neighborhood would look like here in Millbrook. And again, we'll do videos again in the summer and spring for all these places. We're not going to stop making videos because it's the winter, but you'll notice lots of green for being this time of year. There's a lot of evergreen stuff here. There's the pine trees, there's the palm trees, a lot of these shrubby little bushes. I don't know what they're called, but a lot of these stay evergreen. And this is what a normal neighborhood in Millbrook looks like. These communities, you can get a house in here for $140,000, and it's incredible how affordable Millbrook is. So if you're looking for an affordable place to retire, I mean, where else can you get a house for $140,000 in a suburban area where the winters are mild? We only had snow once here this year, I believe, in Millbrook. Areas a little bit north of us got a little bit more snow, but here it was like a light dusting of snow once this year. That's all we've got. And it looks like unless a big cold front comes through again, which is possible, but it's maybe not likely, who knows. But well, you know, Millbrook, I think, is a great place to retire affordably. Or even if you're like a young adult like me, like in your 30s and 40s, and you don't have a massive net worth, you're just looking for a place that's affordable, that has somewhat jobs, you know, it's a great place. I mean, as you guys know, if you watch my channel, I've done nothing but prosper economically since I got here. And so there is opportunity here. It's not a fancy place. This isn't Nashville. This isn't Miami. So if you need those places, you can be stuck in traffic and you can deal with snobby city people. And if that's what you want, you can get that. But that's not really what this place is about. This isn't a place about traffic. I mean, this is a chill little town. I mean, look how quiet this is. And then the greens are starting to come back a little bit. So hopefully soon everything will be green and pretty again. But it's a very quiet little town. And again, you do see law enforcement running all over the place doing all types of crap. But there are little areas like this one right here. This is called Cumberland Park. You know, there are nicer little suburban areas like this. I think that you can get a house in here, something like in the mid 200s. You could find something like this in this community. So again, the affordability of this place for suburban living in a place where you're 15 minutes from a Publix. Can't emphasize that enough. You know, 10 to 15 minutes from a Publix. You know, what else do you need? There's a Bass Pro Shop there in Prattville. You know, I know this video's about Millbrook, but kind of Prattville and Millbrook are kind of intertwined. And this gentleman here does a mobile car wash service. And let me tell you, car wash is a big business in this little town. There's several, right along downtown, which we're going to run back over there. There's several little car wash gigs going on. Little small businesses that do car wash. It's really popular. There's actually a few big car washes, so it seems like people like to have fresh rides out here. So the car culture is not bad. You see some really neat stuff. You see squatted trucks out here. You see old school rides on big wheels. You see a few like real classic American muscle, and every once in a while you'll see like some really old cars, like from the 20s and 30s or something. So, you know, Alabama's known for their car culture. There's a lot of old cars here, American muscle, all that. But basically, I mean, look how nice this area is. We're just driving. You know, you go from, you know, these houses here on some big properties, big pieces of land, new houses, developments. It's a really suburban type of place, and that's pretty much how most of Millbrook is. It's just on and off suburban type places. I mean, I love it here. It's chill, it's relaxing. As you can see, it's a weekday, just totally calm. I don't know what else I can say, but I love it here. I really like this area a lot. And Millbrook is nice, and it has nice areas. Like I said, the number one thing that I've ran across people telling me about Millbrook when they're doing their research, like, Jose, it looks nice, but the crime rate is so high. Got to go back to the crime rate. But again, as you can see, law enforcement here, they don't play around. They're actually doing their job, which I'm sure if in Naples, Florida, where I used to live, on paper, their crime rate is really low. It's supposed to be one of the safest communities in the country. But if the police there was as active as they are here, as far as, you know, running down criminals and you know, like not giving people breaks and stuff, I'm sure their crime rates wouldn't be any different. So usually people wave at you here. Real friendly, small town Southern hospitality is a thing here. Like if you walk into, like, I just can't get over, like, when I go downtown to do my you know, paperwork for my business, there's like a little office. I can't remember if it's the City Hall or the Chamber of Commerce, one of the two places I go there to renew my business license. And when I go there, I just can't get over how friendly and kind of small town Southern hospitality vibes you get from people. It just seems like a really cool, slow-paced type of town. And yet, you can hop on 65 and in a little bit over an hour, you're in Birmingham, which is the largest city in the state. I think Birmingham is another underrated city. You can also hop over into 65 the other direction, and what, practically 15, 20 minutes, not even, you're in downtown Montgomery. So even though it's a small town type of place, you know, you're not too far from the action. You know, I think it's 2.5 hours to Atlanta. I think it's about 4 hours to right to the center of Nashville, downtown Nashville, and that includes the commute into Nashville. But I think it's about a little bit over 3 hours. You're in the outskirts of Nashville, the area of Tennessee that everybody's moving to from California. So it's a great little community. I've worked for people here from New York, California, Virginia's a big state out here. A lot of people from Georgia, a lot of people from Texas. I think Virginia, Texas, and Georgia and Florida are the 4 biggest states that I've met here as far as people from other places. And you know, your experience can vary greatly based off of which community you move into in Millbrook. Like this community here is obviously a subdivision, so you can expect it to be kind of, you know, a few people from other states, a lot of retired military, you know. But then you also run into neighborhoods that are a little bit more Alabama. They're a little bit more country. They're a little bit more established. So when you look into Millbrook, you need to understand exactly what type of neighborhood you want to fall into, because Millbrook has developments, it has old city neighborhoods, it has just regular working class neighborhoods, It has country places. So you need to know exactly the property you're looking at, what type of neighborhood it's in, because every neighborhood has its own particular thing going on. You know, one neighborhood might have people growing chickens in their backyard, and the next neighborhood might get mad if you leave your car parked on the sidewalk, because there's a lot of contrast. Like, we were just in a newer established neighborhood. This is you can tell when you come in this neighborhood, it's a little bit older. So here it might be a little bit more, you know, these people might be, you know, they might have lived here for 30 years. They might know their neighbors. So you get more into the small town type of thing, you know, where everybody knows everybody, a little bit more gossip, you know. So you just got to understand exactly, since it's a city that has a lot of diversity as far as the neighborhoods. Like this guy here, he's got a bunch of cars on his front lawn because it's a more established neighborhood, where if you land in a community, that may not be as appropriate to have all that stuff on your front yard. So we're on the corner of Goodwin and Airport, and let's run back into town a little bit. You can see this red clay dirt right there. It's always a really cool thing to see. You know, when I used to live in Kentucky and Florida, back and forth on 75, you'd always run through the red dirt, the red clay. Well, you can see the city has a diverse setting of neighborhood, and you might just want to find the right type of, you know, if you're a person that wants to be in a development, land in a development. If you're a person that likes to park out, you know, a bunch of cars on your driveway, you might want an older established neighborhood where they're more lenient towards that. If you like to roar a Harley at 2 in the morning, then you might want to be on the outskirts of the city. So it's just important that, you know, you tune into exactly what type of neighborhood you want, because it's a city that has a lot of diversity as far as neighborhoods and types of neighborhoods. You got some really fancy places that are more refined, and you got places that are more laid back where you can kind of get away with more. So let's just make sure. Ooh, look at that. I'm big on car culture and like stuff like that. That's a dropped Suburban. It's kind of like a Yukon or a Suburban. Either way. So yeah, I mean, just make sure you land in a neighborhood where it's gonna work for you. One of my favorite things about this area is the natural settings of the trees. The pine trees, the oak trees. And once you get south of Montgomery, there's actually palm trees, little swamp cabbage looking palm trees all over the southern region of Montgomery. So let's get back on Chapman and head back towards town. But as you can see, each neighborhood has its own little thing going on. And Magnolia Estates is another development. I'm going to run right in here real quick. I've worked in here a few times. Magnolia Estates is a little bit bigger houses, a little bit nicer of an area. Let's run right through here real quick and see what we got. So, you know, find a neighborhood that fits your needs, and that's always important to kind of understand the neighborhoods. If you're coming from another state, you probably want to end up in a development like one of these, you know, because it's a little bit more refined, and that may be your thing. If you're coming from Arkansas, you might want to end up in a little city neighborhood like where I'm at now. But if you're coming from out of state, probably a development like this would be more fitting to your needs. We just had a lot of rain last night, so you can see a little bit of water flowing. Probably a great day to go fishing on some of these creeks and rivers today, since we had all that rain overnight. The sun's finally out. Today's probably a great day for me to head to Wetumpka and go fishing. You're kind of between Wetumpka and Prattville. Those are another amazing places to be. So that's another thing about Millbrook is, while Millbrook doesn't have a little historic, cute little town center like Prattville or Wetumpka, you're practically in the middle of both. So in 20 minutes you can be in Wetumpka, or in 20 minutes you can be in Prattville if you want like a little town center. You know what I mean? So that's another great thing, is that you're between these two great cities. I mean, Prattville's got 30,000 people, and it's one of the fastest growing cities, you know, suburban. It's got everything going on. And Wetumpka, charming little town, you know, so it's just a great place to be as far as location, general location, stuff in all directions. Nice magnolias, and again, I gotta emphasize how much I love the natural plants of this place, the natural beauty of the plants. Even now in the winter, it's not like grays and just ugly. It's actually pretty nice for winter, you know. I mean, it's not South Florida where everything's green during the winter, but you know, for being, you know, in this region of the country, beautiful natural diversity. There's an old house right here. That's really nice. Like, I don't know how old that house is, but really nice older house. And, there's a few big properties here. You know, houses sitting on like 10-20 acres. From what I understand, the schools here they're not bad. They're definitely not as bad as Montgomery. If somebody lives in Millbrook and they know which area has the best schools, that's the one thing I'm not really good at, is knowing where there's what good schools are. But from what I understand, the schools here are pretty good, and I don't think it's about. I think it's a great place to raise a family. It doesn't have all the big city crap going on. I think it's an alright place to raise a family. I really do. I don't really think it's a bad place to raise a family. But now we're gonna head back on Main Street. Here's the shopping center with the palm trees over here. And we could go forever. I mean, I can make a 10-hour video showing you guys every neighborhood in the city. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of hop between different neighborhoods and show you guys different stuff going on in the city of Millbrook. Southern Smiles is the name of that business. I don't know what they're selling. I think they're selling Southern Smiles. Might be a dental office. Either way, very nice little name. Alright guys, so now we're heading into what's kind of like the center of the city, but it's kind of weird because Millbrook isn't like Prattville or Wetumpka where you have like a town center, you know. So the center of the city, there's no historic district like that. It's kind of all spread out, you know. So there's no like charming, cute little town center, which most towns in Alabama have that. And I think that's pretty much one of the biggest drawbacks about Millbrook, is that it doesn't have that little historic little town center that every little Alabama town has. That to me could be a deal breaker for some people, but it's definitely not a plus. You know, you don't have that little cute town center with the, you know, with the courthouse in the middle and all that. That's something that is kind of difficult. It's a little bit difficult with subject from. You know, Millbrook doesn't have that prestigious little Main Street. So yeah, there's no prestigious Main Street here in Millbrook, and that is definitely a minus for the city. It still has really calm small town vibes either way, but it doesn't have that, and that's pretty much a negative for the city, that it doesn't have that. I mean, this is pretty much it right here. There's a few older buildings, a few little things like, and even most of the actions on Highway 14 were, you know, Main Street, which is where you would expect there to be, you know, a little town. Even like towns like Eclectic that are like 1,000 people have somewhat of a town center, but this is what you get here in Millbrook. It's definitely not Eclectic. It's definitely not Prattville or Wetumpka. It doesn't have that little, you know, there's just a few little businesses here in the town center, and then that is about it. Now there is a nice little walking park, and we're gonna get out here and check this out. There's a nice little walking park here. There's a city hall right there, so we're kind of in the geographical center of town now. We're kind of, this is kind of like this is the center of it all. Like, this is the geographical center of town, even though most of the businesses are centered around Main Street. So this is the walking park. I don't know what it's called. I just call it the walking park because that's pretty much what's going on here. You've got the city hall right across from the walking park, and well, this sign pretty much lets you know what's going on here. But as far as the town center, I mean, this is kind of it. I know, compared to other little places in Alabama, it's really not much. So this is the walking park. Lots of squirrels running around. And there are some artisanal waterfalls, artesian waterfalls. Not waterfalls, what am I talking about? Drinking fountains. Like this one is the Cook Fountain, dedicated in 1996. So here's a kind of like a old school fountain. I guess you press here with your foot. Sure, it's not working right now, but oh, there it is. There's a gazebo in the middle of the park, and there's always squirrels running around. It's a great place for an afternoon or evening walk. A little squirrel right there. Lots of squirrels here. But yeah, it's just a nice little area to go for a walk. And well, let's do that. Let's take a walk to the walking park. So this is a really popular spot in the evenings. I mean, there might hardly be a parking spot here in the evening. People really like to come here and just do this walk. And there's also another one on the north side of Millbrook. I think it's called Legacy Park. There's a few places where you can go for a walk in Millbrook. And you got a nice little creek here. Usually this creek is really clear, but we had a lot of rain, so it's kind of, well, a little bit, it's moving right now. Usually this creek is really clear water, but since we had so much rain, it's a little bit wild today. But this creek is usually crystal clear. And if you remember on a live stream a while back, we actually walked through this creek. Lots of creeks in this area. That's one thing you'll find out here a lot of. So if you choose Millbrook, eventually you'll probably find yourself walking here in this little park with a nice clear creek, usually, unless you had a lot of rain. And, you know, big magnolia tree and a gazebo. Fort-looking park for the kids over there. So if you have kids, there's plenty of stuff for them to do here at this park as well. Nice little gazebo. Yep. And as you can see, the water's somewhat clear. Not too bad. So yeah, creeks with clear water. So there it is. Nice little creek. Lots of creeks in this area. Alabama has more creeks than any other state, I think. Maybe Alaska's got more. Great little park here, right in the center of the city. I think one of the city's biggest draws, are probably in a positive way, are probably the affordability. It's just a quiet, slow speed of life, and mild winter weather. Not bad. It really does feel nice to be out here. It feels really decent. It's like the perfect weather to be outside. I mean, sunny day, great weather, the wind's blowing a little bit, the sun's shining. It feels so good to be alive and to be in Bama. So, while not prestigious, not bad either. I mean, yeah, they sure are. That's the real deal Longhorn right there. There's a lot of lots being cleared right in the center of the city. I don't know if they're planning on building houses or what, but there's a lot of lots being cleared. And there's a lot of these nice little lakes all over Millbrook. What's up, everybody? On this video, we're going to explore Millbrook, Alabama. Millbrook, Alabama. Love this upholstery place. They got like all types of stuff outside. Lots of stuff going on there. But yeah, as you can see, it's a very, very beautiful natural setting here in Millbrook. Lots of big trees and lots of basically just natural vibes, just show little country places. Love it. Really, really incredible little setting here. Country, urban, kind of all mixed together in one little area. Great stuff. traffic. And then as you start driving kind of further out of town, it turns very country. Obviously, a trip to Millbrook would be nothing without going here, because this is basically what this town is known for. And there it is, Lake Jackson, Lake Island. I actually like hanging out here a lot. It's a really cool place to hang out. We're gonna chill here. Now, getting in is a pain in the butt. I can't believe they haven't came up with a more practical way of getting into this place. You have to like call. It's horrible to get in. You have to like, it's like $3 to get in, which I think it's like, I guess it's a private business, so they're trying to make money at it, I guess. And well, we're gonna get in here real quick, but it is incredibly difficult to get in here. So there's this little office right here, and you have to like put money in a little thing, and then you put money in a little thingy, and then you call a phone number that gives you a code. And I should kind of remember the code by now, but I don't. But there it is. There's directions actually to get in. It's really complicated. I wish they'd make it easier. Apparently you can also do camping. I should really know this code by now because I've been here like 20 times, but I keep forgetting. Anyways, you put the code in, and then you're in. And there's supposed to be a bunch of goats running around. I think being a weekday, it's going to be kind of very few people here. Notice how they have a sign warning you about snakes and alligators. Now, I've never seen an alligator here in this part of Alabama, but I do see signs every once in a while that say alligator, and I have heard stories about people fishing, catching alligators. And of course, I'm coming from Florida, so nothing new to me to see an alligator. But let's go for a ride. As you can see, there's people camping here. I think they're paying $10 to camp. I guess it's $10 a day. Not bad. Not bad at all. Really nice place to camp. So if you're into RVing and camping, then this may be a place for you to consider. We're about to get on the island, and somehow the goats don't ever make it over here. I mean, I guess being an island, I guess the goats could in theory walk over here. I'm gonna get some fishing in while we're here. That's my thing right there to do. I'm gonna get some fishing in. And I already see a few spots that I like, but I'll give you guys a tour of this place, because this is what the city is basically known for is this lake park here. In fact, there's a website that does the top 10 must-see places in Alabama, small town things, and this was on the list, I think number 7 or something like that. You're also allowed to put your boat in the water, like this guy right here on the left. He's putting his boat in the water, so you can even bring a boat and go on these lakes. So you can't beat that. I mean, it offers a lot as far as nature and things to do. The goats are over there. Let's go. They'll chase your car around. No, they're going this way. I can see the goats on the left, and basically that's Lake Jackson Island. And basically, you come here and get chased around by goats. I mean, yeah, you can't beat that. So I guess the two things remaining for us to do are to see the town of Spectre, which is where they filmed that movie. Now, I looked at the previews for the movie, and it's not a movie I'm going to sit through. So even though I live here in Millbrook, I should have watched this movie because it was filmed here. But I'm going to be honest, I saw the previews and it doesn't seem like something I would watch. But the town of Spectre is definitely, the wave town is very nice. The town of Spectre is definitely what this whole city is known for. So we're going to get out here and we're going to explore the town of Spectre with you guys to finish this video, and we're going to meet the local residents, the goats. All right, so this is basically what happens when you come here to this place. You get flash mobbed by goats. So they got food for the goats, so they're really popular. So this is kind of what happens when you come here. You get attacked by goats. So let's find out. I mean, let's do this. Last time I was here, I had a confrontation with a goat who was very hostile, very aggressive. It just didn't like me. So I got my red J's on, and well, that's not really goat material, but here we got one. But yeah, this is kind of what you do here. You come here and I guess you get attacked by goats. Oh crap, they're coming. And if you run, they follow you sometimes. They're not doing it right now. This one's kind of curious. Like, hey buddy, come here. Let me talk to you for a minute. Now, I don't have any food. Oh, come back. We can be friends. Alright, let's see what's going on over here. Let's see what's going on with these goats, man. Let's see this. Alright, so it's a bunch of goats, man. Yo, you remember me? You remember me? Probably not. We'll get back to the goats. Let's explore what's going on over there. So we'll get back to the goats in a little bit. Let's go back over there and explore some of these old buildings. Sometimes the goats are into you, other times they're not. Usually if you're in your car, we had a little confrontation last time we were here with a goat. We did it during a live stream. This goat, well, he thought I wasn't scared of him, and you know how that goes. Sometimes we can let our egos get in the way of stuff. Not a bad place to camp. If you're doing camping, this is a great place, especially going cross country. It's a great place to kind of stop and take a moment to enjoy the local sights. Yeah, buddy. So let's explore this little town, which is the set of a movie and probably the first thing anybody in Millbrook would probably want to visit when you move out here. It's what the town's known for, basically, this site here. To me, it's just like whatever. I mean, it's nice actually. I like messing with the goats when I have food. When you don't have food, you're just not attractive to them. So here it is. Welcome to Spectre. And this should probably be a video all to itself. But I'm just gonna throw it all in here as one thing. So there it is. Interesting. Let's do it. I mean, we have the city of Millbrook to explore, and we have this, so let's get in here. Well, I know it's kind of crappy that living here in Millbrook, I haven't looked at the movie, but I didn't like it. I saw the previews, and I was like, yeah, this isn't me. Basically, there's a few little log cabins, a few old buildings. It's really neat. Very neat. I think this is privately owned. So yeah, that's Millbrook for you. I mean, it has its interesting little things. And yes, I know it's not New York City. It's not Nashville. It actually smells like goats here. But it is, in its own way, a unique little place. It's not over the top incredible. It's just a great little place to live, not more than that. And for the most part, being a YouTuber, I've tried not to do too many videos here where I live because I want to keep it low-key. I don't want... back where I used to live in my hometown in Florida, everybody knew me, and it was just more than I could handle at times. So here I've tried to keep it low-key. It's been 8 months since I've been here, and I'm just now kind of, for the first time, really thoroughly covering the city on a one complete video. So I've tried to kind of keep a low-key type of thing here. This site is so interesting, and it smells like goat. And again, the smell of goats. The good thing is, I'm only moderately allergic to goats. So there it is, Millbrook, Alabama, known for an island full of abandoned buildings with goats running around, living in the abandoned buildings. Yeah, very cool. Neat place, the weather's perfect. Well, thank you so much for watching the video. I personally have some fishing adventures to go on. It's been great to share this video with you guys of Millbrook, Alabama, the place where I live, which I've tried the best that I could to stay out of making too many videos exactly where I live. I want to keep a low profile. One of the best things about the people here in Alabama is that they're really respectful, and that's been really great for me being a YouTuber. I've been able to just kind of be to myself and all that. This is an incredible sight. It's just so cool to be here at this abandoned town movie set. Just a odd place, surrounded by, it's obviously an island, so it's got water all the way around it. I got some fishing to do, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Wherever you're watching from, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And if I have any interactions with the goats, they don't seem to be into me today, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And that way, we know what you feel about our channel. If you're a hater, welcome on board. Our channel is growing tremendously, and when a channel grows, it always attracts haters. And well, welcome on board, haters.